Hey everyone, welcome back to Motionplex. In today's session, we will talk about the 5 different types of animation, their advantages and disadvantages, and the different career options that are out there for you. Before we start, ensure that you don't forget to check Motionplex, a platform for creators that provides courses created by industry specialists. Now let's kick off our discussion. The first item on our list is stop motion.
The things they don't know. I have something I'd like to give you. It is a school book.
Stop motion involves taking still images of physical objects like puppets or human bodies and arranging them in a sequence to create the illusion of movement. One of the main advantages of stop-motion animation is that it has a natural and unique appeal. However, the biggest disadvantage is that it is a very labor-intensive medium. Creating a puppet and animating it frame by frame can take a lot of time, more so than other animation techniques. To be skilled in stop-motion animation, you need to have a good sense of timing and spacing, which requires a lot of practice. In terms of job availability, there aren't many studios that offer jobs for stop-motion animators, with only a few places like Leica or independent filmmakers mainly working in this area. Motion graphics. Motion graphics is a medium that's different from all others because it focuses on interesting shapes and text instead of story and character. Usually motion graphics elements like titles or logos are moved around in an appealing way. This type of work is mostly done in commercials, marketing, advertising, and creating movie intros and credits. The best part is that there is less pressure on animation, and it doesn't have to look super realistic or obey gravity. Instead, there's a lot of subtle acting involved. The main advantage of motion graphics is that it's simple and straightforward. However, the main disadvantage is that there's very little acting or storytelling involved. The skill level required is probably a 2 out of 5 because character animation doesn't need Pixar-level acting. As for job availability, I'd say it's a 3 out of 5, and there are many different ways to work with motion graphics. Nowadays, many companies that aren't necessarily animation-based are requesting motion graphics. Traditional animation. The third kind of animation is traditional animation.
Monsters? Weren't you afraid?
No, ma'am, but they tied me in a big sack.
When someone mentions traditional animation, Disney usually comes to mind first. This form of animation used to be the main medium for animation, but it has since taken a back seat for most animation productions.
Ghosts? We'll separate and surround them.
In traditional animation, everything is hand-drawn on paper. If you are animating for a feature film, you would typically need to create 24 drawings for every second of film time, which is known as animating on, 1 drawing for every 24 frames. However, traditional animators found a solution early on to save time and stress. They found out that they could animate on 2s, which means that for every 2 frames, they only need 1 drawing. This usually works for slow actions, but for super fast actions, ones are still needed and used interchangeably. One advantage of traditional animation is complete creative freedom, as you are not limited by software or puppets. You can animate anything you can think of. However, the main disadvantage is that you must draw incredibly well to create high-quality traditional animation, and there are not many jobs available for this type of animation. The skill level required for the job is a 5 out of 5 due to the need to draw subtle acting. On the other hand, job availability is a 2 out of 5 because there are not many studios that are requesting traditional animators these days. For instance, Disney is no longer hiring 2D animators. Everything is done on the computer now. The fourth kind of animation is vector bitmap animation. It is similar to digital 2D animation and is pretty much the same as traditional animation. In this type of animation, you hand draw all the animation, but digitally with software. The style is distinctively different, but often more simplified than pencil and paper.
What? Could this mean? In our dreams, that girl and I...
In recent years, with the growth of YouTube and social media, vector bitmap animation has become very popular. The main advantage of this medium is that it is less expensive, as you don't have to pay for the paper and painting. The main disadvantage is that you have to use software to imitate pencil drawings, which can sometimes be challenging to get the right look.
I came pretty close to biting it back there.
The skill level for this job is 3 out of 5 because you need to have the same skill when drawing by hand. However, typically, the quality, the level of acting, and the level of movement are much lower than in a traditional 2D Disney film. Job availability is probably 3 out of 5. There is a growing amount of TV shows and projects that will need this animation, as well as independent YouTube creators creating more opportunities out there.
ねえ君
Computer animation. The fifth type of animation is computer animation, which is the most common form of animation today. You may have heard of it already, as this is where most of the jobs are. Computer animation is done by studios of all kinds, from big ones like Pixar and Disney to small TV cartoon companies or game companies. This medium is unique in that you manipulate 3D virtual puppets known as character rigs to create animation. You use the computer to move a puppet around, which is similar to stop-motion animation, but everything is digital. The advantage of computer animation is that you don't need to know how to draw, as you are manipulating a pre-made puppet. The disadvantage is that you are limited by what the puppet can do. These character rigs are both the advantages and disadvantages of this medium. The skill level required for this job is high, around 5 out of 5, as you need to know a lot about animation and how to use software to create great results in the art. The level of skill required can vary depending on the studio you work for. Pixar, for example, requires a high level of skill to create fine-tuned movements that look almost human-like. The job availability for computer animation is also high, around 5 out of 5, as this is the most popular form of animation today.
The land of the dead. Dr. Cleanup! You gotta stay with me, boy.
All kinds of studios are doing computer animation, whether it's for games, movies, TV, or independent films. So there are plenty of options available for you anywhere in the world. What type of animation do you find most appealing? Is it the same kind of animation you would choose for your dream job? Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to more videos like this. Additionally, take a look at Motionplex, a course-selling market, where you can find courses on animation, VFX, game design, and cinematography, created by industry professionals. You can find the link in the description box below. That's it for today. See you next time.